Coming up tonight on the news at 5, Governor Steve Bullock announces more measures aimed at curbing the continuous spike in COVID cases across the state. Plus, getting a concealed carry permit in Cascade County is about to get a little easier.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon and welcome to the news at 5. I'm Jessica Nelson. Thank you for joining us. Developing late this afternoon, Governor Steve Bullock announces new restrictions aimed at curbing the spread of the virus. The new rules will take effect this Friday. First, the governor has expanded the mask mandate to include all counties statewide, regardless of the number of active cases. He also ordered bars, restaurants, breweries, distilleries, and casinos to be limited to 50% capacity, and they must close by 10 p.m. Eating and drinking establishments must also limit group sizes to 6 or less, with a mandatory 6-foot physical distance between groups. Bullock also ordered all public gatherings limited to 25 or fewer people and asked people to limit their involvement in private gatherings of 15 people or more. He said news of 2 possible vaccines is promising, but mass distribution remains a long ways off, and rising virus cases have nearly exhausted healthcare workers and supplies.
We're all sick of this virus. We all have to collectively recognize that this virus won't stop spreading through our communities at any time soon, unless we take active steps to stop its spread. The responsibility for doing that rests with each and every one of us.
Bullock also announced Montana would use CARES Act money to provide an additional $200 a week in supplemental unemployment assistance. And they're working to obtain at least 100 additional healthcare workers to assist hospitals and healthcare facilities across the state. Montana reported 1,500 additional COVID-19 cases today, bringing the statewide total to over 50,000. There are nearly 18,000 active cases in Montana. 14 more deaths have been reported since last night, meaning 567 Montanans have died from COVID-19 complications. As a reminder, MTN numbers vary from the state since we also track data reported by local health departments. Time now for a check of our forecast. I hope you were able to get outside today because gorgeous.
Yes, I was. Thank you for your concern there, Jessica.
You.
Yeah.
Of course you were outside.
Yeah, of course it was outside. But I hope everybody got to enjoy temperatures in the 50s and even the low 60s here. A little unusual for November. The reason why it was so warm is we're out ahead of a storm system. Nice southwesterly flow here across the state, pushing the temperatures up well above average. That looks like a lot of rain, a lot of mountain snow. It's not going to translate into a big precipitation maker for Montana. I'm going to call them short timer showers, just kind of sticking around here a little bit tomorrow and a little bit on Thursday as well. But really, no big precipitation totals likely. More nice November weather with some sunshine, and believe it or not, next week, Thanksgiving already. I'll take a look at the travel conditions heading into the holiday. That's coming up.
This is the week that newly elected Montana legislators plan to meet at the Capitol to choose their leaders for the 2021 session. But the Chief Public Health Officer in Helena is recommending that lawmakers not come to Helena. Drenda Neiman made her recommendation to all state legislators. Lawmakers from both parties are scheduled to meet at the Capitol tomorrow to elect leadership spots for the 2021 House and Senate. Neiman said as COVID-19 cases are sharply increasing across the state, it's a good idea to avoid large gatherings, especially indoors. Democratic leaders said they expect most of their caucus to follow Neiman's recommendations and not attend the caucus meetings in person. Republican House Majority Leader Brad Cheetah of Missoula told MTN News today he plans to attend in person and that his caucus is leaving it up to individual legislators on whether they want to come to the Capitol this week. Neiman says she hopes lawmakers will act in ways that minimize the risk of spreading COVID-19.
We really do ask the legislative body and the members of leadership to be really thoughtful, really considerate, and really think long and hard about how they can do their business more safely to protect themselves as well as the communities that will all be impacted, not just Helena.
The caucus meetings will be streamed live on the internet, and lawmakers will be able to participate remotely and vote on the leadership positions. Later tonight, MTN News will have more coverage on the debate over how the 2021 legislature can meet or operate during the pandemic. Well, getting a concealed carry permit in Cascade County is about to get a little easier. As of December 1st, the Cascade County Sheriff's Office is reducing the fee from $55 to $50. Fingerprinting will also no longer be required. You can come in between 8 and 5, Monday through Friday. Have your picture taken, and then the permits will be mailed to you. Sheriff Jesse Slaughter posted a video to Facebook to announce the changes. He says he wants to help people further their Second Amendment right.
You just have so many things when you come into an office and you take over after you win an election. And, obviously with all the major priorities of changes that we had to do, it wasn't something that was like we thought we had to get to right away. It's my duty as the sheriff to be able to help people with their constitutional rights to my fullest extent.
Slaughter also said he and the Sheriff's Office firearms instructor will offer 2 CCW qualification classes a year starting next year. New grants are available to help Blackfeet Tribe businesses impacted by the pandemic. Blackfeet Tribe business owners can apply for the money through December 11th. Since the application process opened on Friday, about 24 applications have come in. The committee overseeing the grant is developing a tiered system to determine how much money each person will get. The money comes from the $1.2 million the tribe got as part of the federal government's coronavirus relief package.
Although millions of dollars didn't come to the Blackfeet Reservation this year, we are resilient, and we want to help our tribal members as the Blackfeet tribe.
Grant application on our website. Well, we have all been there. Flashing lights up ahead. You're coming up on an accident scene. You know to move over and slow down. But by how much? MTN's Marianne Davidson tells us why knowing and following the law is so critical.
2 Montana Highway Patrol cars sideswiped when a vehicle failed to slow down and move over on I-90. Just days before that, 2 tow truck drivers killed by a passing vehicle on the same interstate. These headlines aren't unique.
We came out here today so you could see what it's like. As we stand here, we have cars passing feet from us. This is our life.
It's scary. Cars barreling down the highway at 80 miles per hour, close enough to touch. Even during our short time on the side of the road with Joshua, at least 5 vehicles failed to slow down and move over.
There's a classic example, 2 vehicles that just passed us with an empty lane.
Sometimes, as a tow truck operator like Joshua tries to help a stranded motorist or law enforcement officers work an accident scene, those cars don't just pass by.
I myself have got hit once on a motor vehicle crash. I didn't see it coming. It was like a sledgehammer.
According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, traffic-related incidents are one of the leading causes of death for law enforcement officers. And Sergeant Nelson said, near misses are an almost daily occurrence on the job.
They're not paying attention, and they're not slowing down and putting our lives and their own lives in danger.
Flashing blue and white lights are not the only ones to look out for.
We do everything that we can. We have signs, we have cones, we have lights.
Slowing down and moving over isn't just a courtesy, it's the law.
Here in Montana, if you're approaching a stationary emergency vehicle with their flashing lights on the same side of the road as you, move over and give them a lane of space. Now, if you're on a highway with a speed limit of at least 50 miles an hour, you also have to slow down to 20 miles an hour below that speed limit. So, for example, if you're driving on this road behind me, the speed limit here is 70 miles an hour, meaning you'd have to slow down to 50 miles an hour.
And take the conditions into account.
You might think you're slowing down, but because of the icy, snowy roads, you're actually still going too fast for the conditions.
Slowing down to get through an accident scene might extend your trip by a few minutes, but a few minutes of your time could save someone's life. In Helena, Marianne Davidson, MTN News.
When we come back, Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenance has a full forecast update, and later, there is a little-known CARES Act rule that could net small businesses tens of thousands of dollars. I'll explain when we come back.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenance.
Welcome back, everybody. Good Tuesday afternoon to you all. What a nice day here for November. A lot of that snow melting. It had a little sun mixed in with the clouds at times. 56 degrees in Great Falls. The average high is 42. High temperature made it up to 62 in Great Falls, only 4 degrees away from the record highs that was set back in 2009. Helena, not as warm, but yeah, it was a pretty nice day with temperatures up into the 50s, currently 51, and the clouds have moved back in. Not everybody so lucky and so warm here. Take a look at the High Line, really all the way up through about Chester, and then it starts to warm up there around Cut Bank. But the warm front has moved off towards the north of the state, and we're still just lingering with some cold air up here right along the High Line. Of course, the Milk River up there as well, just a little lower piece of elevation, allowing that cold air to sink, and the warm air goes right over the top. But still pretty warm for most of the state, and not much of the state dealing with a lot of wind, with the exception of Livingston. Always windy. 35-mile-per-hour winds right there. A few showers moving into northwest Montana here. Not much going on. It's part of that bigger system, and again, the warm front has lifted off towards the north of the state here. We are in the warm sector. This front will weaken, and it will come through tomorrow with a couple of showers and maybe an isolated mountain snow shower or two. Big picture, speaking of snow showers, northeast parts of the country, the Great Lakes, New England, looking at some of that snow coming through. So back here at home, looking at a couple of showers, mainly west of the divide here tonight. There will be some snow in places like Marias Pass and down the Continental Divide after midnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Helena, we could have a raindrop or two in the valley, a few flakes of snow into the hills around town here. Out there around Kings Hill Pass, a little snow tomorrow morning, but this is not a big precipitation maker. Another little round of showers coming through late tomorrow evening. That's the cold front pushing through. Could have a shower or two up here along the High Line. Nothing to get too excited about. And a few snow showers, again, down the Continental Divide into the higher terrain of south central and central Montana. A few snow showers possible here around the hills around Helena on Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, but really this is not a significant snowmaker as far as accumulation goes. Few inches into the mountains along and west of the divide. The Bitterroot could see 6 to 8 inches of snow, Glacier 6 to 8 inches of snow, but really very little, if any, accumulation east of the divide in the lower elevations. Now, promised taking a look all the way into the days leading up to Thanksgiving. Friday looks very nice. Actually, real nice November weekend ahead of us here with mostly sunny skies Saturday and also on Sunday. But getting into Monday, moisture really building here through the Pacific Northwest. That looks like a lot. We will likely see a front coming through Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday that could produce some snow showers, but it does not look like a big storm that will impact travel very much, if at all. Forecast for tonight, look at these lows. Lows near where the average high temperature should be for some areas. Down near the freezing point, out around Glasgow, 40 degrees for the low in Lewistown and just a few ticks shy of 40 degrees in Helena. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. Some snow, Marias Pass and Glacier National Park, but partly cloudy skies, windy here across north central Montana, and really little, if any, precipitation. Maybe a couple of snow showers up there around Showdown and also up around Great Divide. Helena could have a rain shower in the valley, but it does not look like a big storm system by any means. A couple of showers around tomorrow, a couple of mixed rain and snow showers Wednesday night, a few snow showers, especially in the hills around town on Thursday, and it will get cooler towards the weekend, but light wind, mostly sunny skies, temperatures near 40. That's pretty nice for the latter half of November. And for Great Falls, 55 tomorrow. It's windy, it's pretty warm, a stray shower on Thursday, and then dry through the weekend into next week.
Millions of small businesses are fighting off permanent closures, looking for every possible penny to help them stay afloat. But there is a little-known CARES Act rule that could net small businesses tens of thousands of dollars in just a few weeks and help keep more people employed.
When Congress passed the CARES Act in March, it allotted billions of dollars in forgivable loans to small businesses. But what some may not know is that at the same time, a temporary tax rule was also passed.
If you had a loss in 2018 or 2019 or 2020, in any of those years, a net operating loss, you could carry it back up to 5 tax years to generate refunds.
Chris Caterino is a CPA with the firm Drucker and Scicchetti in Philadelphia. He explains businesses can generate a tax refund by filing losses for this year after December 31st. But under the temporary rule, if the business also had losses in 2019 or 2018, they can carry back those losses and file for a refund now by filing an amended return or 1045 form.
The 1045 is generally quicker, and I believe the IRS is required to respond and process those within 90 days.
The tax refund under the temporary net operating loss rule for some small businesses could be tens of thousands of much needed dollars.
It can mean the difference between keeping your doors open or not.
Tom McCracken is with the National Small Business Association and says while a temporary tax benefit could save some businesses, the ones who may need it the most are not aware of it.
Just the smallest companies that they don't know. They go to have their taxes prepared in the spring, and then they find out, wow, I could have had this benefit all along.
Which could be too late for some, especially if another round of COVID-19 related closures happen and a second stimulus package isn't passed soon. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
News at 5, the coronavirus pandemic is wreaking havoc on plasma donation supplies. I'll explain after the break.
News leader. You're watching NTN News at 5.
The pandemic has raised awareness about convalescent plasma donation to treat coronavirus patients. But for hundreds of thousands of people who rely on regular plasma infusions to survive, there are concerns about a looming shortage.
My pain levels increase tenfold, maybe even more.
Mother, wife, and rare disease advocate Deborah Vick lives with myasthenia gravis, a neuromuscular disorder that disrupts nerve-to-muscle communication.
The messages are no longer being able to reach my muscles to make them work, whether that is to walk or move or swallow or breathe. It's all interconnected.
There is no cure, so every 2 weeks she requires plasma infusions.
Being in crisis is the worst time to have to wait for a treatment. I know for me, my treatments are every 2 weeks. And days before my treatment starts, my breathing has become extremely labored.
Many types of primary immunodeficiency disorders like Vicks result in an inability to produce antibodies to fight off infection.
There's about 250,000 of us in the United States alone.
John Boyle is the president and CEO of the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Canceled drives and fear of COVID exposure, he says, have contributed to a drop in plasma donations for non-COVID therapy. This while the Red Cross says hospital distributions of convalescent plasma have increased 250% in November compared to September.
To not meet the rising demand is one thing, but to actually have less plasma is potentially very, very, very problematic.
Experts say it takes 7 to 12 months to turn around plasma for patient infusion therapies. We are now 9 months into the pandemic, and a crisis, say some, could be around the corner.
Yes, there is a growing concern about the ability to meet patient clinical need.
Amy Infantis is the president and CEO of the Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association. She says while the call for convalescent plasma therapies for COVID-19 has raised awareness, there is still an increased need for plasma for other rare disease patients.
Our companies are making therapies every day for patients who have a perpetual need for plasma, and that is ongoing regardless of a pandemic.
For those who rely on plasma donation and infusion treatment, it could be the difference between life and death.
The biggest fear is not having the treatments that keep me alive. I mean, reality is I don't know what kind of life I will have, if any, how will I function without my infusions.
It's why so many are hoping those who can will give. I'm Usher Qureshi reporting.
Up next, Montana Millionaire is once again setting a record pace of ticket sales. I will tell you how many tickets have already been sold.
When we welcome our West Coast viewers tonight, the growing demand and lines for COVID testing and the strain being put on labs, and more of our series, America Under Pressure, why 11 to 17-year-olds are at particular emotional risk from COVID and one family's devastating heartbreak, when we see you back here tonight.
Montana's news leader. You're watching NTN News at 5.
Welcome back with us. Now in its 14th year, Montana Millionaire is once again setting a record pace of ticket sales. Touted by Montana Lottery as the best chance to win $1 million, the game is averaging around 6,000 tickets sold each day. As of Tuesday, more than 100,000 of the 180,000 total tickets have already sold. At this pace, the majority of tickets will be sold before the first early bird drawing on November 27th. The Montana Lottery says one of the reasons the game is so popular is that every prize is guaranteed to be distributed.
When we do our drawing at the end of December there, we have four $10,000 prizes, $300,000 prizes, one $250,000 prize, and $1 million prize, and someone's going to win them all.
Yes, that's right. Somebody will. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's all for us tonight. Have a great rest of your night.